Hi, everybody. So I started writing an update on our COVID plan, and it started to get really, really long. So I thought I would use my new skill in making videos to save you all from doing a lot of reading, and I update you on our COVID plan. So first off, I want to say thank you to I want to say thank you for your patience as our team has formulated this plan. I mean, we have combed through lots and lots of resources, read all of the articles, and sat through so very many Zoom calls on this topic of regathering. There's, just a ton of factors and details that have to be considered. So it's been our goal not to rush into anything without thinking it through. It's going to be probably quite a while before our services look really anything like they did before. And many of the changes that we are making, some of them might even be permanent. So as I have asked around to other pastors and in the denominational conference that we're in, I've heard a full spectrum of responses to the crisis and to the plans to move forward. At least one church in our area has started meeting on May 17th and has continued meeting. And some of the churches in our conference have decided that they're going to postpone in-person gatherings altogether until there's a readily available vaccine and so that they can meet together without masks. So that's kind of the full spectrum. There is no one-size-fits-all response and plan. So much of our specific plan depends on our specific context and our specific congregation, all of you guys. So that being said, I want to thank you to everybody that completed that online survey that I sent out. The leadership team met last night via our Zoom call, right? And it was really, really helpful to have that guidance in our decision making of where our congregation really stands on that readiness versus reticence to gather together for in-person meetings. So what we learned through that survey is that while there are a few of us that are ready and willing and chomping at the bit to get back to in-person meetings, a large percentage of the congregation is just really not. So in our planning, we want to be sensitive to this, and we want to carefully create a plan going forward that respects that feeling and seeks to be inclusive of everybody. We don't want anybody feeling left out in this season. So the goal for when we meet together again in the building is to be able to live stream those services so that those that are feeling uncomfortable or unable to gather together with others so that they can participate as well. We want to be inclusive and have everybody be able to participate even if they can't participate in person. So we are working on that plan and we are trying to set up a team to make that possible. But in the meanwhile, we have decided to continue with our current pattern for Sunday mornings for the next 3 Sundays. So that will be the 31st, the 7th, and the 14th. We will continue on as we have been doing. So during this time, those that are really chomping at the bit together again can do so. If you can do so safely and you feel comfortable, we're encouraging you to start hosting watch parties in your homes by joining together with another individual or another household to participate in that order of worship together. So kind of baby step towards gathering. Then our plan is on June 21st. We're going to try an outdoor gathering as our next step towards regathering. This is going to be an opportunity for us to be together, to see each other again in the flesh, and to try out some of those systems that we're seeking to create toward live streaming. And from that point, then, we will decide when we will start meeting again in person inside the building. The earliest that we expect this to happen is in July, but that depends on the changing COVID situation in our area and then kind of on those experiments with meeting together outdoors that could be pushed back even further. But the earliest we're expecting is July. So some of the other groups that meet in our building are creating their own plans based off of their own relative ages and at-risk populations and their just general readiness of their congregation. So City Point has created a plan and will be starting to meet on this Sunday. And I know Shalom is in the process of creating their own plan as well. So the building as a whole will stay closed to anything but those Sunday morning gatherings and for staff purposes, but we are excited to see this big resource being used again to further the kingdom of God in our neighborhood. That's an exciting step. So as we get closer to those in-person indoor meetings, I will be sending out further updates to let you know some of the specific plans that we have for mitigating the spread of disease at our gatherings. So kind of the logistics of what our Sunday mornings will look like, how the flow in our building, what are those logistical changes? I'll send those out in a couple of weeks, so be looking for those. But until then, I want to remind you all that God is still active in our community today. Even though things are weird and kind of upside down, God is still moving. Even when we cannot gather together in person, we can still join in the work that He is doing and further His kingdom here in Urbandale. So may God give you the eyes to see how He is moving and the courage to join in His work today and in the season to come. Blessings.